Welcome to the first episode of the Bassport, a newsletter and a video podcast hosted by me, Jason C. Bass, exploring my love and my passion for family, travel, lifestyle, and culture. I'm going to take you on a journey as I relocate my family from the United States all the way down to Panama City, Panama. Starting from the beginning, 13 years ago, I came down here with some friends to celebrate one of their birthdays. I loved it so much that I immediately wanted to move then. So I went back home thinking that I was going to make some lifestyle changes, go to grad school, do this or that, and I'd be moving back in a matter of some months or maybe even a year. But of course, life happens. I met a young lady, fell in love, I had a son. A lot of things happened in that short period of time. Needless to say, I didn't move. But I never lost my passion and interest for wanting to move back to Panama. So, kind of fast forwarding to modern times, this past October of 2025, my girlfriend was really interested in going somewhere and exploring a new place. So I was like, hey, why don't we go check out Panama together? And if you like it, then maybe that's where we relocate to. The stars aligned perfectly. My mother was available to go too. This was our first vacation together. This was her first time out of the country. So it was perfect. If I could get them down there and they loved it, if I can get them down there to Panama and they loved it, then maybe I could bring that dream into reality now. So we go down, we stay for about 10 or so days. Everybody loves it. They just can't think of like a better place to be. So as a team, when we went back to the U.S. and that kind of like exploratory, trip was over, my mother went back to Baltimore. She was ready to kind of think it through and talk to my father about it because the idea was for them to potentially come down and retire while we figure out our things and we relocate. And we just come down and live here alongside them, still work back in the U.S., but all be together here, okay? So we did what we needed to do on our side to explore the changes that we needed to make from a budgetary standpoint, from a lifestyle standpoint, to really just kind of get ready. We didn't have a date in mind until things started to move along for us, right? So what we did in the beginning is we stopped spending so much money on eating out. We audited our subscriptions. And I hate to share this, but my first audit of the subscriptions, which wasn't just streaming services, also had maybe Photoshop and a few other things because I was into graphic design and for work. I was spending close to $700 a month just on subscriptions. Canceling all of that, of course, we saved a ton of money. We also started selling a bunch of our things on Facebook Marketplace. We made very good money selling things that we realized that we just weren't using and we really didn't need online, and we were able to do that pretty quickly. So after taking some steps like that, we saved some money, we made some money, we sold my girlfriend's car, and then we only kept one car for some months, and that really allowed us to create what we consider just like enough cash for us to get started, enough savings for us to really take the moving and relocating thing seriously. Now, when our lease was coming up for renewal, which would have been May of 2026, that next year, my girlfriend said, look, let's not renew. We do love it here. We love Atlanta. And trust me, like we weren't running from anything. We had an incredible community in Atlanta. We love Atlanta. We love Atlanta to this day. Some of our closest friends are there. Our daughter she made a ton of friends there. We had play dates set up on a regular basis. We had a membership to the zoo. I mean, we were really ingrained in the community. We were going to all the events. It was fantastic. But, we also got tired of the hustle culture. We also got tired of everything that we were kind of seeing on the news that was wearing us down. The news cycle. Oh my God, the politics it's just too much for you to just it's too much, okay? It's too much to pay attention to and have to participate in. So, for reasons like that and, what we thought we would get out of moving and relocating to Panama, we decided that May was our chance. So we packed everything up that we wanted to keep, put some of that in storage, the rest of it we put in suitcases. We bought our tickets, and we came down to Panama. Now, again, I had been to Panama before, right? A couple times. And this last time, we really learned a lot, right? We really discovered a ton about what was happening now these days, which was different from 13 years ago, how we could potentially get our residency, like the different routes we could take, what the community was looking like. We even went to local grocery stores. We probably went to maybe like 6 local grocery stores while we were here. So we did things that we thought we would do if we were a local, and during the whole time exploring different neighborhoods. So we did some homework, okay? Now, we moved down here, we get into a hotel, and then we just start seeing apartments. Locked in something that we loved, we thought was perfect, negotiated a great rate, and throughout that all, we ended up saving ourselves a lot of money. Okay, I did a post on Instagram about this, and you can see the breakdown. And I'll put it over here so then you can see what we're talking about. At least a screenshot of the comparison of the expenses, and I'll drop a link inside of the description. So we could see that some of the things that we thought were really possible were actually possible after the first month. We're eating fresh fruit, fresh fish, fresh food, and we could feel the difference immediately, and that's exactly what we expected. There were some other things that we didn't expect to be as much of a challenge. Of course, when you're vacationing somewhere and you're going to certain places, a lot of the places you're going to go to, they're already used to English speakers. So they're very accommodating, and, they give you an opportunity to take your phone out and translate things. They know you don't know the language. And overall, all the Panamanians are super nice and very accommodating, but you just get more of it in these other areas, okay? So, when you move down here and you're no longer a tourist, but you're a resident and you're living like a local, we didn't anticipate the language barrier to be that much of a kind of just like a thorn in our side, we were so used to just communicating with people and building relationships similar to what we did when we were in Atlanta, but we couldn't do it well. And we're still, after 90 days of being here, we're still very it's still tough, but we're learning every day, and having to learn a language as a 46-year-old adult is definitely a challenge, right? It's a challenge no matter what. And I got Duolingo. I'm talking to as many people as I can when I can in Spanish, and I'm even watching children's content online, right, to try to get the basics. But the other sad part about this is now my vocabulary is as good as a 3 or 4-year-old, and I'm going to keep working at that. Other challenges were just assumptions on how we think things just happen around the world. I mean, small things, right? Things move it a little bit differently at the grocery stores. I'll give you an example. There's one where if you get produce, you actually weigh them in the produce section, and they bag it right there, put a sticker on it, and then you take it to the cash register, right? And that's where you check out. They don't weigh it at the cash register. So you're taking up fruits and all these vegetables, and then you're holding up the line because there's no way for them to really weigh what you have in order to price it, right? There's not a lot of places like that. There's a few places that we've gone to that have been like that. Or you try to you bring your cart full of groceries up to the line, you take all your stuff out, and you think you want to push the cart through the rest of the line as you pay for your food, and then the bags go back in the cart. That's not what happens. The cart actually stays at the top. So after you take all of your stuff out, you move the cart to the side, and then you go through the line. I mean, who would have ever thought that there would be any kind of a different way of doing this? But there is. But that's the arrogance, I think, and just the ignorance of not really knowing properly what to expect when you're going into somebody else's environment, a new environment, another country. So there's a lot of unlearning that is uncomfortable that you don't really consider as being a part of what that journey looks like, right? And then you're not doing it with yourself, you're doing it with your family. And, luckily I have a loving family, so they're all supportive. Everybody's kind of going through the same thing, but you don't want to feel discomfort yourself, and you don't want them to feel discomfort. So just our own little personal thing. outside of those two things, like the benefits and just kind of the stuff that we didn't expect, it's been really, really good. It's been fantastic. Of course it's hot. Of course it's humid. But, just stop going out in the middle of the day when you're cooking, when it's cooking outside. We do spend time in a lot of air-conditioned places, so we're not like super sweaty and melting, at the hottest points of the day. We know when to go outside. We go to the park in the mornings for a walk, or we go in the evenings when it cools off. But either way, we're really, really enjoying it so far. So that's kind of what we expect, like how we got here, what we did, a little bit of what we did, what we've been expecting from it. And what I will say is we're hoping that as we continue to learn things, we continue on this journey, that, we contribute. We contribute back to the community. So we aren't just here kind of like, I'm gonna use this term really loosely, but like taking advantage of, in a way, of the life difference, the cost difference. I want to say, within that, baked in that, is a privilege, of course, right? There's a little bit of like the things that is closest to that kind of dynamic is related to gentrification. And it's hard to think of myself, a Black urban American who knows and has experienced and seen what gentrification looks like, as being a gentrifier. So, we want to be really cautious as to how we move about in this country. We want to be really good neighbors, support locals, just do whatever we can, to make sure we have a positive impact, positive net impact on the environment, knowing that our existence alone, bringing in dollars from another economy, even though they use the dollar here, but they don't make as many dollars. So that's where the inequality really comes from. It has an impact. Okay, so that's something that we also are kind of thinking through and hoping that we do a best job that we can to be a part of the community, be accepted into the community. And as we're doing all of this and sharing a lot of this here, on this podcast, on YouTube, but also in the newsletter and on my Instagram. So, this is the first video. I was trying to cover a lot to get us started and not cover too much. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, jump in the comments, man. Ask some questions. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. You want to challenge some stuff. I'm here for the discourse, okay? That's a definite. But there's a lot of story to be told here, and to be told from this perspective, right? From a family, not a retiree, not somebody who's just coming down here, because this is a great place to retire. A lot of people love to retire here. You can look that up online. Condé Nast was recently talking about how Panama is one of the best places to retire. We aren't retiring, okay? We're down here just trying to design a lifestyle that fits our needs and our wants and our values better than what we could find at the time in the U.S. Even in a city we absolutely loved and adored, being Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta. Also, shout out to my hometown, Baltimore. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Listen, again, like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm going to drop a new episode every Thursday, okay? So be ready, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.